The marquee game on Sunday was the first matchup between Miami and San Antonio since the NBA Finals in June. Smitty and Coach, to whom was this game more important?
Well, I think both teams want to come out and win. I think when you have a Western Conference team you only see once, it brings a little bit more added to it, especially you just got to finish playing in June. So I think the Miami Heat definitely, it meant a little bit more to them because they're trying to catch the Indiana Pacers. The Spurs understand they have a chance to be number one, but they were down some bodies, so I think it meant more to the Miami Heat.
I agree with Smitty here. I think that Miami needs every win they can to get back up there with Indiana, who's been playing well. But San Antonio has so many injuries, and they're still trying to rest their bodies. They don't want to get, overused with some of their stars, waiting on their guys to come back and so they can make a run down the stretch.
Splitter, Leonard, Green, all out for San Antonio, but we flash back now to Game 7 of the 2013 NBA Finals, won by the Heat 95-88 thanks to 37-12 and a late dagger from MVP LeBron James. Tim Duncan led the Spurs with 24-12, but late misses at the rim really cost the Spurs, as did Tony Parker, shooting 3 of 12 from the field. Dwayne Wade had 23 and 10 in this historic victory, and he returned to the Heat lineup Sunday after missing the previous 4 games with a knee injury. So let's head to the AAA for the highlights. There's back-to-back Finals MVP LeBron James, and nice pass out to Chris Bosh for 3.
That's just a great pass, great touch pass by LeBron James. He's so good. He knew Chris Bosh was there, got it to him quickly. And give Bosh credit, knocking down that corner 3.
He had a terrific game. Tony Parker to Tim Duncan, one of the best combos in the league.
They've been doing it for a long time, and they're continuing to do it.
And then LeBron James to a cutting Dwayne Wade. He came off the bench in this game for the first time since 2008, only the 9th reserve game of Wade's career, and Chris Anderson with the rejection.
Well, you didn't have to do much because Boris kind of threw it into his hand. You got to jump a little bit, Boris.
Greg Oden with the block as well. And then LeBron James with the steal. Boris Dio doesn't wrap him up well enough, and 1.
He's just a man among boys. He's been doing it for a long time. That's why he's a perennial MVP.
Coach, what do you expect from Greg Oden here the rest of the way for the Heat?
Well, I tell you, if he could just give them 20 solid minutes of controlling the basket with the rebounding and blocking shots and then catching and dunking, they're going to make people have to worry about him when they're attacking the basket, and the three-point line is going to be that much more wide open.
LeBron James hit that 3, helping the Heat build a 58-50 halftime lead. More from LeBron.
Well, I love this break. You got a chance to see Chris Bosh use his Wade and LeBron, and now Chris Bosh is getting into the play of moving off this pick and roll. Great finish, great find by LeBron, and Chris Bosh is moving well as far as himself. Looks pretty good.
Bosh had 24. LeBron James had 18. And look at that tough angle shot.
They're missing Kawhi Leonard. He's a guy that would be on him. He's their quickness, their athleticism, and Boris Diaw is no match for LeBron. Not that a lot of people are, but you need a better matchup than Boris.
LeBron James called for a foul on Tim Duncan, running away in disbelief. He was called for a technical foul, perhaps some disbelief in Miami land about that tech.
Yeah, well, I think LeBron James is the overuse of running all the way to the bench. The referee said, hey, let's tee him up. They were updating.
A wire-to-wire victory for the champs, 113-101. The Heat now have won 5 straight regular season meetings with the Spurs, and the champs have won 5 of 6 since a 3-game losing streak. Miami is 32-12, while San Antonio is 33-11 as their 6-game road winning streak is over. This is what LeBron James had to say after this victory.
What has the evolution of Chris Bosh as a consistent perimeter player done for this group?
He's given us a lot of space. His ability to shoot the ball brings out, most of the time, the best defensive player on the other team and the bigger guy. So keeps him away from the basket, and it just stretches the floor for us.
Every year is different, but this was a point where you went on the great run. As you move toward the second half, what's the most important thing your team can achieve?
Playing consistently on the defensive end. When we defend, we rebound. We're a very good team because offensively we're going to shoot, very high, and we're going to share the ball as well. If we defend, we rebound, we give ourselves a great chance to win every night.
What concerns do you have with the load you carry because of Dwayne Wade sort of in and out of the lineup?
I've had a huge responsibility for a long time. Well, I probably will go back saying 7 or 8 straight years having a huge load. So it doesn't change for me. My responsibility is high, and I hold that with the utmost respect. And my teammates allow me to do that, and I'm happy to be there for them to be able to be that leader and to carry the load no matter how big it is.
And we take a look at the Spurs now against the best teams in the NBA. They have one win against the Clippers. They're 0-3 against OKC, 0-2 against Portland, 0-2 against Houston. Smitty, how do you explain that? The Spurs basically beat all sub-500 teams, but what's happening with them against the elite?
Well, a couple of things is we all know they're getting up in age. Athletically, they have a hard time with some of those teams that, are very skillful and athletic. I think if you're not an athletic team with skillful and you know how to play the game, the Spurs was going to beat you and wear you down with their system. And yes, they've had some injuries, but I think it's going to come down to also the Spurs. If they want to make another run, they're going to have to find a sidekick to Tim Duncan. I like Boris Diaw at times, being able to stretch the court, and Matt Bonner, but at times you can't put all that responsibility on Tim Duncan blocking shots, rebounding, and have to man the middle offensively for the San Antonio Spurs. He needs another sidekick, and maybe Splitter can be that guy, but they need more from that position next to Tim.
Speaking of Duncan, in this game, he passed Allen Iverson into 20th on the all-time scoring list. What are you seeing against the with the Spurs against the top teams in the NBA?
Well, I agree with Smitty what he's saying. With Thiago Splitter out, he's the athletic big. He's a banger. He guards all the big guys, takes the pressure off of Tim. He rebounds. He runs the court. He catches and dunks. And then with Kwame Leonard out, that's their perimeter. That's the athletic person. With Bellinelli is not very athletic. Ginobili's gotten older. Parker's gotten older. And teams are coming at them, and, they haven't been able to just add that athleticism. They had those two guys, and they were able to, just kind of tread water. They beat all the other teams. And when the series they come out and they play great. Their system, their organization, you got to go out and you got to defend. You can't turn the ball over against them. And they're great at doing those things. They rebound, they defend, they don't turn the ball over. And then offensive, they just run up and down the court and execute.
A big part of the dialogue this year for the Miami Heat is the maintenance on Dwayne Wade, who came back today, as we showed you, 23-plus minutes, 8 points, 3 of 8 from the field. Did you like what you saw from Wade today?
Yeah, I think for him is you look at Dwayne Wade, you just see the way he's moving. Even though that was an air ball shot, he's able to still be able to get by guys. And he's being able to finish sometimes at the rim. And a lot of these plays is because of rush. But I think if Dwayne Wade's moving well, it's pretty good for the Miami Heat. It's just going to come down to their matchups and who are they playing. And it also comes down to who's going to be that second or third option scoring the basketball. That's where I'm looking at. They consistently don't have a third guy right now scoring the basketball. It's either LeBron and Bosh or Dwayne and Bosh. It's either 2 out of the 3. I'm looking for that third or fourth guy.
And that's one of their problems as they go forward into the playoffs. If Dwayne Wade has to sit out any amount of time, they have to have that extra scorer out there. They're looking at Norris, they're looking at Beasley, they're hoping that Odin can break something. They need a group of people to come out and be consistent, not have 14 one night and 3 the next night. And I think if they can get consistency from 3 or 4 guys, that will help them more than just needing one guy.
Chris Bosh infamously put up a bagel on 0 of 5 from the field in Game 7 of the Finals. He was 9 for 10 from the field here on Sunday.
Well, I love Chris Bosh when, he's that guy and he's getting a lot of touches. When LeBron sits out, you see his numbers have been remarkable. He's a player, I think, because of what they need, spacing, he doesn't score a lot. But Chris, when he's in Toronto, if you give him multiple touches, he'll wear you down. He gets to the free throw line. He's still serviceable. I just think it's hard for him. He has to bang throughout the season, some of these centers. That's why Greg Oden is so important. But if you can get Greg Oden, like Coach said, playing 20 minutes, now Bosh gets 20 minutes playing that 4 spot, you'll see more productive numbers coming from Bosh.
No question about that. And I think, when you look at Bosh and his skill level, he's become much more versatile. He goes all the way out to the 3-point line. And as LeBron said, that opens up the court for driving. But he also can take the ball in the post, turn and face up. And the bigger, slower guys, he can go around them and get to the basket and get to the free throw line.
All right, so a big win for the Miami Heat.